Okay, this woman says she's been single and alone for 15 years. I do not believe that.
I've been single for my entire adult life. I've just turned 32.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I mean, if you say you're single, that just means you haven't been married. Or does it mean you haven't even been in a relationship, like a committed monogamous relationship, but that you've dated guys? I mean, what does it mean?
At home with family, and my last boyfriend was about 15 years ago.
Your last boyfriend, meaning you're committed, like you made an agreement with him to be monogamous with him. You know, he's your boyfriend, you are his girlfriend, and then, you know, that kind of thing. But you've dated men over the years, right?
Had the experience of someone wanting to spend the rest of their life with me, laying in bed.
You haven't had the experience of a guy actually, you know, want to, like, propose marriage to you, like, want to marry you. You know, but you've dated guys, right? Meaning you haven't been alone. You say you're alone, but you're probably saying alone meaning without a husband. You know, but when you say, oh, I haven't, you know, I've been single and alone, I mean, that sounds like forever alone, like an incel type of guy who says he's forever alone, and kissless, hand-holdless virgin. You know, but no, you're not that. You date guys every single day.
Going to wedding, cooking me dinner when I
engage in physical acts of reproduction.
Get home.
Reproductive acts
and
with you, but you know they don't want to commit to you because you're getting older. That's why they don't want to commit to you. They engage in physical acts with you, but they never want to commit because you only want to date the best looking guys. Like you don't settle for like the bottom 80% of looks of guys. So you only date the best looking guys, and the best looking guys do not want to commit to you because you have multiple sclerosis. That's what you say. And you're older.
For me, it makes me feel like I failed at life, but I've just never had the opportunity to do it. I've had so many thoughts.
If you have that multiple sclerosis, that could cause a guy not to want to marry you. But there's so many males who would want to marry you, but you don't want to date the bottom. Who knows what percentage? 99% of men. You know, so that's why you've been single. You know, but if a guy says the same thing, oh, I've been single and alone, you know, he probably means he's a kissless, hand-holdless virgin. Kissless, hugless, hand-holdless virgin. And it's because zero females want to do that with him. But you are rejecting probably the bottom 99% of men. And you're acting as though you've tried your hardest. But no, you swipe, swipe left, like you reject like 99% of all 100 men.
And down the street with them, someone that isn't embarrassed to be with me, cooking at home together, and I see all these videos.
Yeah, but your priority is the looks of the guy. If he's not over 6 feet tall, if his face isn't good looking enough, you know, then he's not good enough, you know. So if you do date a guy, he's super good looking, and the super good looking men
of people doing this when they're in a relationship and it looks fun. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to experience that kind of love with someone, but I just wanted other people to know that they're not alone. It can feel
love, like, yeah, because your standards are so high that you'll only date the top 1% of men, seemingly. I mean, so because you're addicted to the high quality men. Highest quality, because you have so many thousands of men who do message you every single day, and so you're used to dating only the top 1%, because you have like 100 men. I mean, who knows how many thousands of men you have? Maybe you don't have that many. I don't know how women do that. They field all these messages. but this is if you're a white female, there's so many men of so many different races, of all races, who want to date you, but somehow you can't feel love for a man if he is in the bottom 99%.
So lonely, and like you're the only one.
And you say you're lonely. What are you talking about? How could you be lonely if you're a woman, if you're a white woman there's thousands of men? What are you talking about?
That's going through that emotion, but there are a lot of people out there that are in the same boat. I've been single for my entire adult.
There's a lot of people, there's a lot of men who are, if I say I'm lonely, that's because I literally have 0 females who are inboxing me. There's 0 messages, right? Because if I had a fat female who's disgusting and I'm not attracted to her at all, at least I could meet up with her and talk to her, then I wouldn't be lonely, at least, so therefore I wouldn't say, if that went on for 15 years, I wouldn't say, oh, I've been lonely for 15 years. Like I'm lonely. I wouldn't be lonely because I would have a female to talk to at least every single day. Though the female, they wouldn't be attractive enough, but I would say that at least I'm not lonely, because I have people.
Like, I've just turned 32 and I live at home with family, and my last boyfriend was about 15 years ago. I've never had the experience of someone wanting to spend the rest of their life with me, laying in bed next to me, going to wedding, cooking me dinner when I get home.
This is totally fake. It's all, yeah, you haven't had that because you don't want to settle. Like, let's say you want a white man, right? So that means you're rejecting all other races, all those men from all other races. But there's so many men from so many races from around the world who would want to marry you, who would want to do that. So this is absurd.
And that often makes me feel like
why can't you just say that you want a white husband? Why can't you just say you want a white husband and you've rejected all these other men? Why can't you just say you have to have a man who's over 6 feet tall? Why can't you say you have to have a man who is not overweight? Why can't you say you have to have a man who has some kind of established home in a good location? Why can't you say all these things? And why can't you at least say that that's why you're single, that's why you haven't dated anyone, or that's why you haven't had a boyfriend? And why can't you say that you have dated men, but they haven't wanted to be your boyfriend? So you can't say that because you're trying to trick men into believing that you've been with, into feeling and believing that you haven't been with anyone, that you've been alone with no men at all in 15 years, but that you only had one boyfriend in your life. You're trying to trick men into believing this, but the truth is that what do when you ovulate every month, every 28 days? You ovulate, your hormones increase, and you become extremely desirous to engage with a male. And so what do? You just suppress that desire. You just don't even try to even open up your social media and all your messages and try to try to let a man deliver himself to your door. You don't want to do that. Like you haven't done that. You have. You've done that every single day. That's what you do every single day. Right? That's what you do. You go through all the messages, and then you talk to men. You at least talk to them. You're texting them, and you're talking to them all the time. That's why females have phones. That's why they have a smartphone, that's why they have an iPhone stereotypically, because they want an extremely high quality computer in order so that it doesn't lag at all. I mean, but nowadays phones, like every phone probably is really high quality now. Like it doesn't lag or anything. But why would anyone want to purchase $1,000 phone? It was because it's insanely quick and it doesn't lag at all. Because I have an iPhone, I know what it's like. So it doesn't lag at all. So, because females need to swipe, 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 swipe. That's what you do all the time. Swipe, 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 swipe. That's what you do every single day. But you don't want to settle for the bottom, like 99.9% of men. So you want to find one in 1,000. You know, so because I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of messages you get each day, but what you do is you go through like 1,000 men, and then then there's one. Then you meet up with them. You go out to a coffee shop or whatever. Like that's what it is, right? I mean, am I wrong? Or do you get like 0 messages? Like you're saying you put up a profile on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, like all these social media, and then there's like how many, what's going on? Like how could you be lonely? It's impossible for you to be lonely. Like you're not alone. Like why would you say you're lonely if there's people who want to deliver themselves to you and bring food over and alcohol or whatever, and then it's weird. You're but as a man though, it's the opposite. Like there's no females unless you're good looking enough. If you're not good looking enough, then there's no females, and then you're actually lonely. Seriously, even if you're good looking, it's hard to attract females. Like I could attract fat females easily, like grotesquely fat females easily. But then I raised my standards so that it took like a month. It took like a month for me to engage in an actual act of reproductive activity. It was pretty hard for me, to meet up with females. But if I wanted to, then I could attract fat females pretty easily, But it's still not that easy. Even though I'm 6'3", So.
Life. But I've just never had the opportunity to do it. I've had so many thoughts of
do what? What?
I would do.
You never had the
a partner.
opportunity to have a person who would want to to lie in bed with you and like what? What did you say? To talk?
But I've just never had the opportunity to do it. I've had 15 years ago. I've never had the experience of someone wanting to spend the rest of their life with me, laying in bed next to me, going to wedding, cooking me dinner when I get home.
Laying in bed next to you? What? Like every man wants to do that.
That
what did she say?
Makes me feel like
what?
Boyfriend was about 15 years ago. I've never had the experience of someone wanting to spend the rest of their life with me, laying in bed next to me, going to wedding, cooking me dinner.
He didn't lay next to you? What? Because you said you've never, or you're saying you've never in the last 15 years.
When I get home, and that often makes me feel like I've failed at life. But I've just never had
failed at life. But that's just because you haven't wanted to settle. Because you've been this paradox of choice. Like you've been introduced to thousands of men every single day, and then and then they're the very, very, very top ones. If you do meet up with them, they don't want to commit to you because they're too old or you're not good looking enough for them, and they have so many different females who they're engaging with right now, so it's very competitive from your point of view.
To do it, I've had so many thoughts of what I would do if I had a partner.
So that's what it is. Like you only see, like you only are used to super good looking men. But those super good looking men never want to commit to you. So in your perception, all men who you actually meet up with never want to engage with, they never want to cuddle with you, spend time with you, cook for you, and so because they don't have to, because they've raised their standards so that they make females come to them. They might make females pay for everything, and make females just buy food for them, or make females make food for them, and they don't want to, or they don't. Maybe they just maybe they have money and they order food for themselves or whatever, and all they do is engage in reproductive activity with you, but they don't really want to spend any time cuddling with you or anything, because there's so many females, and so they can attract so many females. And so why would they want to cuddle with you? Why are you special? And you have multiple sclerosis anyway, so if you tell them that, then they don't want to, they're just going to use you for just practice, just for a fling.
Holiday, walking hand in hand down the street with them, someone that isn't embarrassed to be with me, cooking at home together. And I see all these videos of people doing this when they're in a relationship.
There's a lot of men at the drop of a hat would want to engage with you in all those things that you said, but you don't. The problem is that you don't want to lower your standards so that it's a guy who's under 6 feet tall, a guy who doesn't even have a job, or just a guy who's not white. Your standards are so high.
And it looks fun. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to experience that kind of love with someone.
It's because you are delaying. Like you don't feel that you're not actually lonely, because if you were that lonely, then you would want to marry someone. I mean, because you every single day you engage with men who are super good looking, and that's why you're not desperate. You're not really desperate, because you have so many men coming to you all the time, engaging with you in acts of reproduction, and every single day, right? So because you would lower your standards if you had no one, right? But you date men every single day. They're always texting you all the time, so you're always inundated with all these good-looking men all the time. But yeah, the problem is that your standards of looks are so high, you only engage with those very good-looking men, but they do not want to develop any type of relationship with you, probably because you're at multiple sclerosis, but also because you're not good looking enough. You are too old. You have had a boyfriend before. You're not even a virgin. If you were a virgin, then you might have a chance. But if you're dating the super high quality, then it's so hard. Super high quality in looks men. And if they live in a great location, if they have. If they're a Chad with a bag, they have everything. They have a car. They're over 6 feet tall. They have big muscles, all that. Why would any guy who has huge muscles and has money and is over 6 feet tall and is just very good looking want to marry you, or even want to just engage in cuddling and making, spending reproductive attention, even actual reproduction? They don't want to engage in actual reproduction and producing children, because there's just so many females, and they aren't polygamous minded. They don't have a polygamous mindset where they believe in producing a lot of children, because they probably believe that it costs a lot of money. And you probably demand, you probably are materialistic, and you would demand a lot of money from these men for raising children. You would want to buy Christmas toys and all that, so many things. And so, but if you were not materialistic at all, and if it would cost a small amount of money, just basically extra food and barely any clothing, in order to raise your children, then maybe a polygamous, one of these high value men would want to acquire you, would want to accumulate women like you and reproduce with them, you know. But that's only if you make the cost very low of doing so, you know. But most females are super, you know, you're greedy, you're going to use his money, you're going to waste his money, and that's not attractive. So you can't always get what you want, okay? You can't get everything you want. You can't have a super good looking guy who obviously is able to attract so many females and then have him spend his time on you if you aren't even that good looking and you are older and you have also multiple sclerosis, you know. But because you're white and you're not fat, there should be so many men who are less than stellar looking, you know, who would want to wife you up, you know. They would want you, they would want to commit to you because they would be overjoyed that they could do that with you, you know. But you don't want them because they're not good looking enough. LTBLP, ltblp.great-site.net. Live the best life possible.